Let's get on to the next. We've got the Big Tent Roundtable, moderated by Michael. Now, Michael's Americans for Prosperity. So it's your turn to have the mic, get up here, and you're going to steer the ship. You good with that?
This is actually really great. It's, the crowd has kind of dwindled down a little bit, and so a roundtable, really, it should feel like family. I know most people here, and so the speakers we're going to have today, we're going to discuss kind of a really troubling issue that Rahn brought up, is the Republican Party. Weston, thanks for everything you're doing at the national level. I want to bring it back to Colorado because there's an article that was published in Colorado Politics back in August. It was called The Incredible Shrinking Party. And it just talks about the dwindling Republican Party. And 13 years ago, there was about 35% of the electorate was Republican. Today, it's only 25%, actually 24. The unaffiliated is now 47% of the state of Colorado. And that's apparent because conservatives, Republicans, we're losing people. And so we want to discuss that today and try to find out why. Why does the Republican Party have this image problem? Why are people leaving the party, and what can we do about it? So wanted to bring up Valdamar. Of course, thank you for hosting us. We want to bring you involved in this conversation. So come out with Priscilla. Can we bring you up as well? And then, did Jessica make it?
Yes, she's
yeah,
right.
Jessica. Okay, and Jessica, yes, please come on up. So, I don't know if you want to, yeah.
Yeah, we're good, right? Here,
So did anybody see that article in Colorado Politics about the incredible shrinking party? So a few people did. It brought an analogy of the horror film, The Incredible Shrinking Woman. And I don't know if you guys remember that old school one, but I mean, honestly, I'm a Denver native, and it's really like a horror show that's happening right here in the state. Okay. This takeover, just the changes that have happened here are really, really troubling. And as a native, I'm not happy with that, and that's why I got involved. My role as coalition director with Americans for Prosperity is to find like-minded groups and find ways to collaborate and cooperate for better outcomes. And so I appreciate everyone that's here today to discuss this really troubling issue. So I guess first question, why do we have this kind of problem with the image problem with the Republican Party? So I guess we could start with Priscilla at the end.
Well, I think part of it is how we communicate. We are very independently minded, and we have very strong opinions. A lot of times we think that being a Republican means you're automatically a Christian, and it's not necessarily the case. And so sometimes people bring their Christian values, which I'm a Christian, okay? But I think people forget that being a Republican is about freedom of religion and standing up for people's individual values and how we respect that. And so I think over time we confuse our personal religious values with political platform. And so that's one reason why I think we've had a problem. Another one is just the way we communicate and how we are the party of liberty, and we are the party of individual rights and respecting all people, because that's what our Constitution is. And if we don't study and understand the intent of our founding fathers and read things like Federalist Papers or understand the amendments or the history, we will just be emotional in how we say it. Like, this is wrong, it's dogmatically wrong, we know that. And so we forget to put people first, not principles first. We gotta put people first. And we used to do that really well, but the Democrats have come in and done a very good job of portraying themselves as the caring, supportive party. We know policy-wise, that's where we're flipped, right? Our policies are better. You know, capitalism is the moral way, the most moral way to run our society, but it's just in our interactions because we just get confused in how we communicate.
I can appreciate that, yeah. The left certainly has a mantra, we have better arguments, for sure, so we need to be able to communicate that. Jessica, what are your thoughts on this?
I can just listen. Hi, I believe first, we need to fix our internal issues. Like we need to respect everybody's beliefs, and also we need to share our beliefs, like our values, our principles, like our faith, our patriotism. Like we have more opportunity for school choice, pro-life. Also, our party, we need to be careful also to selecting our candidates, because not everybody have the same values that we have, and we need to make sure in that who are our candidates. And also, and I believe we need to share and educate with our community, teaching them what is our principles and values, and then we can reach out more with all communities.
Thanks, Val.
Yeah, and there definitely is an image problem, and one problem that we really can't control is the fact that the media is against us. But we know that, so we shouldn't act surprised anytime it happens, and our strategy going forward should take that into account. I agree with the things that have been said. I read the, what's that guy's name? The Rules for Radicals, the book, Saul Alinsky. Because you got to know, like, what are they doing that's working? And one of the points he brought out in that book that I say all the time is that the biggest enemy to the individual liberty is the individual themselves. We all end up fighting for our own personal liberty. We don't fight for each other. And kind of going along with your thoughts on religion, Bill O'Reilly's book that just came out on killing the witches is awesome in that, because it makes the link between one of the reasons the First Amendment that they said, right, no, we're not going to have a national religion. It's because they saw what happened in Salem. Like, we don't want that to happen again. So no national religion. We're going to allow everyone to be free to think what they want and believe what they want. And I was going to say something after that, and I don't remember what it was. But no, we do really kind of need to take control of that narrative, because again, we know the media is going to spin it the other way. So I think all too often, Republicans, conservatives, we're always on the the defense. We're always being defensive about everything we do. And we really need to go the other way and just be offensive about what we do, and take control of the conversation, throw the questions back, because like has been mentioned, our policies are the ones that really are caring. When it comes to children and it comes to women and sports, our policies are the ones that really care for people. So just throw that question back, why are you saying that? And so I think we do really need to just take control of our image and not let the media do it.
I had one more thought, that I'm sitting here because there was somebody involved in the Republican Party who invited me and mentored me. And like Weston was talking about, we are so busy sizing each other up. Are you enough of a Republican? Are you conservative? Do you fit into my vision of what it means to be a patriot? And then we call each other every kind of name but a child of God. We call everybody every kind of name. And instead of saying, I'm so glad you're here, thank you, because I've talked to so many people who've left because they feel ostracized or alienated from our community. And we don't have the luxury of pushing anybody out. We should say, what is it that you bring to the table that you're passionate about? Let's get you plugged in. Let's find you a mentor. Let's make sure we're checking up on you and we're getting you involved. Can you come to this meeting? Can you do that? But we do the opposite, and we show up to events, and you see people in their little cliques, and they're looking at you and they're talking about you, and all of that kind of stuff tears down our organization, and it continues to happen. And so my challenge to all of us here is to eliminate that kind of language that categorizes because we talk about the left categorizing people by race, by gender, like we categorize. We do our own version of categorizing and then devaluing individuals based on our own vision of what we think a Republican is or a conservative is. So that's something we can change today. We can make a difference.
I like that, yeah, well said. Obviously, we all understand we do have this image problem, and I'm sure everyone in this room could talk about the image issues. Next set of questions, and we'll start with Val. How do we change that?
Well, we need to show that we do have those. And like I've said before, conservative values really are those values from the founding documents. We are for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. There's no qualifier on the pursuit of happiness. Everyone may have their own pursuit, and we need to be willing to bring people into the party. So we need to reach out. I think one thing, and this is actually something I think even Democrats do, is we all like to speak in our bubbles. We go to the events where we know we're going to be welcome, where we know everyone there is going to agree with us, and we're going to not face confrontation. One thing this year with Log Cabin Republicans, we did 6 Pride events. And there were a few times we had some spicy conversations. Priscilla even, I think, was someone yelling at us in Douglas County. But for the most part, the majority of the people, you have a nice conversation. People come up to you, you have good conversations, and there's just the fact that they see you there. They see the banner, they're like, oh, the Republicans are here. And that stands out to them. So we need to go to Pride Fest, we need to be at the Juneteenth Festival, Cinco de Mayo, we need to be at powwows, we need to be at all these cultural events because the Democrats will be there. And if they see them there, even if they don't talk to them, but they see their table, but they don't see our counter table, it makes a statement. And so we really do need to get out and be in our communities.
Okay, the same question.
Yeah, how do we change that image problem?
And I believe I want to make it more easier, is just we can practice what we preach. Other than stop fighting each other and also practice what we preach. That is the only thing I can say.
I think mine's easy too. Break bread with someone who doesn't look like you, who doesn't think like you, who doesn't agree with you, and just ask them what's on their radar and just listen and have a conversation. You can learn a lot just by talking with people. And I've been surprised that a lot of folks that I talk to, like, we actually agree that that's a problem and we need to fix it. And how would you fix that? Okay, great. You know what? I know this amazing candidate that would do a great job in helping us. Let's go talk with them. Would you like to meet them? Because they could earn your vote. And there are ways that we can be a bridge, 100%. I always would challenge folks as the GOP vice chair, after you leave this GOP event, go talk to 2 people who aren't Republicans. Because we're gonna get our cups filled here. We're gonna leave here feeling like we were amongst friends and their support, but then we have to go do something with this information and the power. You gotta be like what we call an LPR, power sneezers, right? You sneeze and it's like powerful, like what you do. Every single one of you has the ability to persuade someone to think differently, and then everyone has the ability to persuade you to see a different perspective so you can be a better problem solver, because that's the whole point, right? We have problems in our state, problems in our communities, people want solutions. Let's bring them those solutions and let's do it in a very caring, humanitarian, and loving way. And there's no need for us to be angry about we can, anger is a justified emotion. We've all felt that, okay? But I'm saying, like, we have a lot of work to do, and we'll get more work done with honey, right, than we do with pistols. Although I do love shooting. Okay, in the Second Amendment.
Great, thank you. Part of the work that I'm doing with Americans for Prosperity right now is surveying these unaffiliated voters. And so since February, we've actually been door-to-door canvassing and making phone calls to reach unaffiliated. And what we ask them is, we say, hey, do you feel that our country and our state is politically divided because the loudest voices are the most extreme voices are the loudest? And overwhelmingly, everyone says yes, right? But I like what you said, Priscilla, about reaching out, go break bread with someone that doesn't think like you, go find these other communities. Interestingly here, our panel here, we're all people of color, and when I go to a lot of GOP events, there's not a lot of diversity there. So my next question comes back to, how do we draw different demographics into this party? And we'll start, I guess, Priscilla again.
I just invite people. Everybody knows somebody of color, right? We all know folks. We work with them. We're dating them, right? Okay. People are people. All men are created equal. Just go talk to folks and just say, hey, I want to invite you. We're going to have food. It's going to be fun. Have you ever thought, I've really noticed that you have great opinions. Have you ever thought about being on a board or commission? You don't have to run for anything. Just let me introduce you to Commissioner. Commissioner can help figure out what's great for you. We got friends all over the state that can appoint folks to boards and commissions, and that's how you get started. But it's just a matter of just go invite someone to come. All right? Okay, that's it.
In my case, as Hispanic, that you can notice my accent, right? Spanish is my first language. So we can provide more, again, education. Education has to be first in all levels. In this case, we need to share with them our values, principles. That is very important. So like our faith, again, we are pro-school choices, pro-life. We want more education for everybody, more jobs, there are more things, right? And being more active with the community all the time, not only just in the elections. That is very important. And also, we can communicate them in their own language in order to avoid misinterpretation. We can try to be party friendly, like Priscilla said. Also, we have opportunity to do many things to help them or to teach them. Like for example, we can help to teach English. Like I can put, for example, Democrats, what they do it. They teach English, and at the same time they indoctrinate in our public space, like library. Also, we have opportunity to go to citizenship events, so we can get there, providing information like teaching again about our election system. That sometimes is very difficult, even for Americans, to understand how difficult is our election system. What else? Finally, I can say our party, we can encourage them to run for office.
Thank you. Valdamar?
So I agree with these statements, and really I think if you talk to people of color, they're conservative. They're more conservative than other people are, so really it's kind of a freak of nature that they're on the other side. So really just have conversations with them, and they're going to agree with you on most things. I kind of want to look at one other area, kind of as Weston had talked about earlier, looking at young people. I think we also need to focus our messages even on them. Too many of the times we don't have answers for climate change, education, and the cost of living going up, which are concerns of young people. Republicans oftentimes just say, oh, that's fake, that's not real, pay your own tuition, climate change is a hoax, stuff like that. And maybe that's what you think, and maybe that's true, but that's not the answer that's going to attract people to the party. So we need to have better answers for a lot of these things. Like with climate change, talk about the environment. We care about the environment. We want good air, good water, and different things like that. And a lot of us even do believe climate change is real. The climate is changing. It always has. It always will. But the issue is we're not going to die in 10 years. We're not all going to be dead. And so the solutions are the problem, not the actual issue. So we have to have better answers to that, as well as education. Education is also something I think that really can unite us. Where was it where they were like the Christians and the Muslims were at the school board fighting together over school? Because they both care about their kids a lot. This is an issue, really, kind of like the first panel talked about. Education is really an issue that can be used to bring our communities together. So I know my answer was kind of all over the place, but that's
Nice, I like that, yeah. So, yeah, one thing, of course, bringing in minorities. Actually, I heard that the Hispanic GOP, they actually had a really great gala up in Brighton not too long ago, and there was actually Hispanics there. It was amazing to hear. Also, the Lakewood Republicans, obviously, with the gay Republicans, is great to invite people in. I think ultimately, again, having fun, coming together, becoming friends, having a good time, that will, again, draw people in, draw minorities, draw these different demographics. Back to the other question, again, how do we grow this, especially in the long run, is reaching the youth. And so do you guys have opinions and ideas on how to bring young people to the party? I guess we can start with Priscilla again.
Well, nuts and bolts, and I think Weston talked about the minute I posted on my social media that I was having a meet and greet at Wide Open Saloon with free dancing, bring your cowboy boots, he's like, I'm there. Okay, so knowing and understanding what young people enjoy, I'm a public school teacher, so fortunately or unfortunately, I kind of know what's in and what's hip, and how can you use, like, they love to roller skate. I mean, or not roller, it's not roller, it's school, rollerblade, sorry. Rollerblade, that's my, see, I'm aging myself, it was roller skating before. With lights, and it's so easy to engage with a young person or a college student because they want to feel independent and they want you to make them feel like they're smart and they're contributing, but they also want to have fun. So if you can make your events center around a good time, and that makes people feel good, because our world right now can use some smiles and some happiness, right? And if we can be that place where our young people can also feel safe, like I'm in an environment where I'm not going to be judged. I mean, what young person doesn't feel awkward in their body? I teach middle school. It's like the worst age ever. No kid loves how they look. They hate their bodies. Everything's changing. They hate their parents. Everybody's stupid, right? But if they can get away from all that and be like, hey, this is kind of cool, and it's like, well, what do you see the future? Like, tell me, you are the future. And there's language you can use with young people to have them think, what problems in the world do you see that you can change and solve? Not what do you want to be when you grow up. That's an antiquated question. I always ask young people, what's a problem that you notice in the community that you want to solve? And they're like, I want to stop bullying. That's amazing. I love that. How would you do that? Like, what would you do in order to stop bullying? And that's what moves their little frontal lobe, cranial thing, thinking about problem solving and being humanitarian. It's okay to be humanitarian and to be kind and to be loving. And it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean that you don't know how to fight. It just means like you understand the priority and the value of a human soul. I mean, for me, when I started looking at individuals as a soul, it changed the whole way I interacted with people around me that I didn't agree with. Because there's a higher calling in my mind of why our purpose is here, and we're spending too much time focusing on our differences and fighting than just caring for one another.
Okay. We need to empower more young people in our party to keep them more engaged. Also, we need to create a more youth activities and also encourage them to run for office. When I have opportunity to talk with young people, like students for the high school, and I say, like Priscilla says, is our future is in their hands, right? the future for our country is in their hands. When I talk with them, I say, when you're going to finish the high school, you're going to take a big decision. Whatever decision that you want to take is going to impact in your own life, in your family life, in our country life. And then they start to thinking, they say, yeah, you are right. And always I am pro education, and also always I want to support this new generation, the young people, help as much as I can, and I know the future, our future is in their hands.
Val?
Yeah, I kind of answered that earlier. Sorry, I jumped ahead there, but just to kind of build on that, yeah, get them involved. When you have things, bring them out. I remember when we were, and have fun, make things fun. If it's not fun, they're not coming, which we're not coming as adults either, so why? The whole reason I even started getting involved in politics is because someone invited me to an event. Then I met some people, and they were doing this flag wave out on the street, and I started going to the flag waves, and the next thing you know, here I am doing this. But at one of the flag waves, I remember we had about 20 high school kids with American flags walking like the crosswalk, right, just in a square, round and round. Every time I turned, they'd go, and they were having fun. We were playing music. It was a good time. They needed to see that, there's a community that's going to support them. So it was bigger than just a flag wave. That wasn't really the point of it. It was just they saw there's a community here that cares about you, that supports you, and talk to them about what they care about. Don't be quick to dismiss. Like I mentioned earlier, if they say things that I'm worried about the cost of education, or my tuition being paid off. Well, you took that up, you should pay it yourself. That's not the right answer to tell them. And again, you may not be wrong, but the real issue is why does it cost so much? Why does education cost so much? I was talking to someone the other day, and I said, really, if you look at the price of a TV 10 years ago versus the price of a TV now, it's dropped a lot. Why has education gone the other way? Why has healthcare gone the other way? It's because those are things the government's involved in. So there's better answers to give children, not necessarily children. Young people.
Children really do.
But young people, those concerns are valid. Why is tuition cost so much? Why do houses cost so much? Why, is there going to be an environment? So, get them involved and just talk to them.
I like that. One thing, and actually, Weston, give me a second here, because I definitely want his opinion. One thing that Americans for Prosperity does, we have some grassroots engagement directors down in Colorado Springs, and they actually invite a lot of the homeschool community together to do phone banks. And so they'll make thousands of calls. They'll set up goals and say, hey, if you reach this many calls, we'll take you out to go bowling. We'll take you to go do something. So they do something that's productive, like a phone bank, and then they go do something fun as a group. As a coalition director, I partner with Turning Point USA, and they have all kinds of chapters in high schools and in colleges. And so I can connect you with some of those groups. And so you can host something like that. Say, hey, you know what, let's take these youth out. We'll, they're learning our founding principles with Turning Point USA, but now we can create activists by just encouraging that, saying, hey, come walk with me for the day, and then I'll sponsor a day of Elitches for you, or do something fun. The key is to engage, invite them to come do things. And of course, I know this is a small group right here, and there's all kinds of ideas that keep flowing, but again, ultimately, invite people, make it fun, tie it back to our principles, and educate on what we stand for as Republicans. But again, we want to draw people in. So people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Right? If we truly care about others, if we care about the common good, we care about the dignity for all, let's go share that and invite them, right? Show them that we care. So that should wrap it up. Andy, I'll let you kind of close it out. Again, this is a great roundtable. We should have more of these where people get to talk and open themselves freely. And again, let's get emotional. We're facing some really difficult times here in Colorado. So yeah, thank you all for coming. Andy, you want to?
Thank you. Give a round of applause. All right, so we're just